Okay, this is Unit 1, Day 2. I'm at the bottom of the page 2 notes where we're talking about percent problems. So we've talked about how to solve linear equations, isolating variables, and now we want to actually bring it into our percent problems, more like what we might see in our Math 154. So we're going to recall these strategy steps for problem solving. It's really key to just understand the problem. Can we rewrite it? In this step 2, translate the English to math so that it makes more sense. Is it like something we've seen? And then step 3 is what we had just covered in the previous video, solve the equation. And then always check your work, make sure the answer makes sense mathematically. All right, so as a review of is multiplication, what is your unknown, is equal, and percent always means divide it by 100 or put it in decimal before you put it in the equation. So those are going to be your key translate English to math words that we're going to see with our percent work. So on page 3, you have lots of practice problems, and I want you to actually pause the video and try them all. See what you can do, and then come back and you can check against this. So if I look at the translation, what is my x? Is equals 25% needs to be written as a decimal. So how to do that is you divide by 100. Of is multiplication 56. And I've got the tip over here too. Change that percent to decimals or it's just not going to make sense. So if we're looking for 25% of 56, we're looking for a much smaller number. So if you forget to change it, that would be your, oh, that doesn't look right. And then you plug that right in and you get 14. 16 now says what percent. So I'm going to make this a P. And I've got this tip over here. I'm reminding myself that I have to convert it into a percent later. So just like in 15 where we made it decimal, it's going to come out as a decimal. What percent of is multiply 32 is equal 8. And now I would divide. Now that's going to give me, when you put it in the calculator, 0.25. I've got to multiply that by my 100 to get back to percent. All right, and you can check against the key. Now then going into your word problems. I've got 3 here that are more like what you're going to see on your Math 154 homework. So I'm going to start with just 19. Sally saw a dress priced at 80. She gets a discount of 25. What's the price of the dress? So if I think about how this is laid out, the price of the dress minus her discount is what she's going to pay. Right? And then so I'm asking, well, what is 25% of 80? That's the discount. What is 25% of 80? And then we get to subtract that from 80 to get what she paid, which is what we're looking for. So when I multiply that through, that gives me 80 minus 20 equals 60. So Sally paid 60 with that discount. And then I get in question 20, the bill in the restaurant is a certain amount, and then we add the tip. So what's the bill? So it's going to be the bill plus the tip is the total amount, which is the same as the final amount. Okay. So let's think what the tip is. The tip is 18% of the total bill. And then we add that to the original bill. That's not your total. That's just what you're adding. So we would do multiply that together and add it to the 4250. That gives me my total. Put that in your calculator and I get $50.15. So that's the total that you would pay with that tip. And then I'll go ahead and finish this page. If you get a salary raise of 3%, What's the new salary? Well, that's going to be your old salary plus the raise. And I really like writing it this way so we can see it written out versus trying to keep it all. So I'm going to make the old salary X. I'm going to make the raise 0.03X. It's 3% of the old salary. And that's your new salary. So then his old salary was $35,600. His raise was 3% of $35,600. So we're going to punch that in and get $36,668 as the new salary. And then that concludes this video.